Hey there, this is OrgoChemSimplified, and our goal is to make organic chemistry simpler. And today, we are going to learn the framework for attacking synthesis problems with confidence. Now, once you develop a framework to attack these problems, they become a lot less daunting, and you have a better understanding of how to attack them. And today, we're going to use carbonyls to learn about this framework. Okay, so the first step in the framework is, look at your starting materials and look at where you want to end up. What's the same and what's different? Okay, so if we look at our starting material, we see almost everything is the same, except we've tacked on this extra carbonyl. So this is a carboxylic acid, and this is an alcohol. So we're going from a primary alcohol to a carboxylic acid. So what are the specific changes that are made? Well, if we go from an alcohol to a carboxylic acid, we know that's an oxidation reaction. So step 2 is what specific changes are made. So we have to undergo an oxidation reaction. But another thing we want to pay attention to is this aldehyde, right? If we go through an oxidation reaction, typically, if you have this aldehyde and you oxidize it, you're going to end up with the carboxylic acid here. So let's keep that in mind. Okay? So step 3 in the framework is how do I make each specific change? Keeping in mind that may take multiple steps, right? So we just said it was an oxidation, right? So to end up here, we're going to have an oxidizing agent, probably chromic acid. That's a pretty good oxidizing agent. The problem is if we use chromic acid starting here, we're also going to get a carboxylic acid here, right? Because this aldehyde is not the fully oxidized state, right? So how do we prevent that that aldehyde from being oxidized? Well, if you want to prevent a functional group from reacting, what do we use? We use protecting groups, right? And what's a protecting group we know for an aldehyde? Well, usually what we see is we see this compound. So we use acid and this diol here. And what that does is it protects that carbonyl. Because what you get is this compound right here. And so because this is a tetrahedral structure, this can't be oxidized, right? So once we oxidize it, we're actually not going to exactly get that compound. What we're actually going to get is a compound where we said, hey, this is not oxidized, but this alcohol is oxidized. So what we actually get is we get this compound right here. And how do we take it off? Well, if you want to take it off, you just do the opposite of what put it on. And what put it on was acid. And what was eliminated away? In the process, a water was eliminated. So we want to add that water back on. And that's going to help us get back to the material that we wanted. So the last step is to map out the synthetic pathway, which is what we did here. Okay, so let's just formalize it to make it more clear. We started with this compound. We added protecting group. That got us to the protected compound. And as you notice, there's 2 carbons here, so there have to be 2 carbons in between these 2 oxygens. We oxidized it. Where the protected group was not oxidized. Next thing we did was we took off the protecting group, and that gave us our product. So as you can see, if you develop a framework for attacking these types of problems, it becomes a lot easier. And also remember, this is just one method of synthesis, right? There could be multiple other different pathways to synthesize the same product. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now that we've gotten that under control, I want to repeat the framework quickly. So the first step is figure out what's the same and what's different in your starting material and your product. The second step is, what are the specific changes that are made? The third step is, how do I make each specific change? How do I control the change to make it what I want? And I want to keep in mind that making this change may take multiple steps. And the last step is to formalize and map out the synthetic pathway. Okay, so hopefully that helped. And if you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel. Please like the video. And if you have questions or comments, please leave them below. I'll try to get back to you as fast as I can. And remember, this video is for you. It's not for me. So please try to participate. Till next time.